Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well today and having a great weekend. I wanted to stop for a moment and talk to you about this trailer I'm working on. So at the beginning, I told you that if the trailer was bent, warped, rotted, that I was going to put a full stop on it and do minimum repair to it and just use it as is. Well, through rolling around underneath it and pecking at it, I found a little rust on the left side, the driver's side of the trailer in the back. About the last 2 feet of the rail seemed to have a little rot. So I decided to proceed forward. Figured it'd be no big deal to replace that little bit of rot. So through the videos that you've seen, I've stripped the trailer down of the wood and some things that were welded to it, mounted to it, removed all that so I could proceed with adding the things that I wanted to add to it. Dovetail, some different types of mounting systems for tie downs and different things like that on the trailer. Repaint it, put new tires on it, put some brakes on it. Some of those items are upgrades in my mind. That's separate from the cost of repair and maintenance. You always have to maintenance a trailer. You know, a lot of people don't look at a trailer as an item they need to maintenance. Tires are bad, they put new tires on it and keep going. Well, there's a lot of work to be done to a trailer. There's wiring, there's lights, if there's brakes, wheel bearings, wheels. If you don't, because it is a utility trailer, got to keep it painted, keep the wood in good shape. Either keep it pressure washed, the wood and the trailer, pressure washed and water treatment or a water repellent on the wood. Things are going to start going wrong. Well, this is an old trailer that's probably had zero maintenance done to it. I acquired the trailer as is. The only damage that I've done to it is I've added lights and then ripped the lights off and added more lights and ripped more lights off. But the damage that's done to the trailer as far as the fenders and the zero maintenance was all done prior to me owning the trailer. So maintenance and repair, we'll kind of keep those both together, even though they are kind of separate, but we'll keep them together to make it a good trailer, right? Maintenance and repair. So between the repair and the maintenance, repair side, I figured $150 roughly. You know, a little metal here, little welding, possibly a new bearing in the wheels, new tires. I got an exceptional deal on tires. I know a person in the industry, so I got tires for basically cost. So about $275 for 5 tires, Kenda tires. Paint, you know, $100 there. So now we're at $375. Little metal, you know, $500, and I'd have had a good little trailer. considering the cost of a new trailer, a new trailer roughly the same size and weight rating, it's $3,100 to $4,100 for a new trailer. So $500 to $600 for the repairs doesn't sound like much. Now with the upgrades, that jacks the price up. Brakes, more metal to add the dovetail, replace all the wood instead of just a couple of pieces. You're talking $1,000, $1,200. $1,200 probably max, $900 minimum. Still a good deal in my mind. Plus I enjoy doing that kind of stuff. I like fiddling with metal, fabricating, welding, grinding. I like fiddling with wood, fabricating and staining, painting. I have the shop and the tools to do so. Which brings us to the problem. That rot is a little more aggressive than what I originally thought. It's basically the rail from the very back of the trailer to at least the first axle, which the suspension hangs on. So basically it renders that trailer junk, in my opinion. You can't even do the minimum repairs and use it because your suspension is hung to that metal that's rotted. So I don't believe it could be safely even just driven down the road empty. And I'm surprised that it's hauled the weight that I've hauled on that left side. Doesn't show any fatigue like it's been like metal bending and breaking, but the rot is there. So do I cut the trailer up, save parts that I can save, throw it in a scrap pile, or do I make the repair a proper repair? And what's proper? I'm Glenn. I'm not a professional trailer guy. But I've taken a grinder since I found that rot. I've taken a grinder throughout that trailer in the search of more rust or more rot. I can't seem to find any. I don't know if that trailer sat under a tree on that side, sat underneath the building where water constantly was going in some kind of a hole somewhere in that rail. Water was sitting. Was that corner sitting in a pond? Gosh, I have no idea. I don't know the history of this trailer. But I do know that rail's rotted. Can I go down through there and surgically remove that rail from the side rails, cross beams, suspension, all the way to the back, 16 feet? Yeah, I can. Do I have the ability? Yeah, I do. I've made wilder repairs. I've built off-road vehicles that survived a beating in the woods. So yeah, I have confidence I can repair it. Is it worth it, is the thing. Money-wise, it's not horrible to make that repair. I can buy a 2 by 3 16-foot stick of steel tubing, for roughly, I've looked them up a little bit, anywhere from $100 to $150, roughly. So in the whole scheme of things, it's not a whole lot of money. If you were the average person that was looking for a trailer and you came across this trailer even at a good deal, you would run like your back was on fire, run away, because it would cost a lot of money to make this repair. You're going to pay a professional to cut that out, buy steel, replace it, refabricate it all. Even if he only painted the part that he repaired, it wouldn't be worth it. You're best off just to go buy a new trailer. But I enjoy this kind of work, like I said, so it's disheartening that I'm going to have to dig in that deeper. I figured this weekend I would have a lot of it cleaned up, maybe even the axles out of it, and moving forward. Back to the beginning of this little story. It never works that way when you're working on something old. Something always, it's one step forward, 2 steps back, in some cases 3 steps back. So I'm going to have to step back. Next week I'll see what I can acquire as far as some metal and at what price. And at that point I've got a bunch of jacks around here, and I'm going to have to set this trailer up on a flat surface, leveled perfectly. Double check it, make sure it's straight, level, plumb, take a bazillion measurements, and then surgically cut that tube out. And then start putting the new tube in, measuring, leveling, measuring, leveling, as I weld it back in, making sure that the trailer stays true and flat and level. And then reset the suspension, because there's hangers for the 2 leaf springs and the load equalizer. There's 3 hangers that hang off of that rail. That's why I'm so concerned about it being rotted. That hang off that rail. So I'll have to get those perfectly lined up. And so I'm not going to pull anything apart till I have the steel here, and then start slowly cutting the rotted rail out, and then resetting it, getting it all welded back in, make sure, triple checking myself as I go. And then we can move forward. So 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 more steps forward, and 5 steps back. So if I can get the steel by this week, this is Sunday, if I can get the steel this week, I may cut into that next weekend. Shouldn't take me that long. I've looked at it and looked at it. Fender's got to come off. Then all the attachments to that rail. Other than the uprights, there's not a whole lot that's attached to it, but there's going to be a lot of grinding, because I don't want to cut things that I don't want cut into, so I'll cut close and then grind off. So at what point I release this video, I guess kind of depends on this weekend. I'm going to video a good portion of it, but it's going to take a lot of cutting, thinking, leveling, thinking, reinstalling, more thinking. Well, I just saw that camera shut off for no reason. That's why I lose footage. Anyhow, I was saying, there's going to be a lot of cutting and thinking here. So when I release this, I don't know. We'll see. Might be after I kind of get started or after I'm done with it. A moving forward video afterwards. However, I don't know yet, but you'll see it. It's going to be a lot of work. Labor. It's going to be labor intense, not money intense. Labor intense. Like I said, for the average person, this would make no sense. But we'll see what we can do, my friends, and just go from there. See you on the next one.